Hey there, this is Gary, and welcome back to Get Going Fast, place where we get into this excellent hobby of AI, and hopefully sort of a quick and efficient manner in which you might actually learn something. And today, we are going to be looking at HiDream, which is the could it be the new Flux Killer? Probably not, but it is cool, and it is certainly something worth playing around with. And they say that this is going to actually be really responsive to training, easily trained, which I guess is a huge benefit. I heard it does not have ControlNet. I don't know a lot about this kind of stuff. I'm a chatbot guy, but I do have my ear to the ground on some of this stuff. So I did hear that CUDA is not that interested in this because it doesn't have ControlNet. But anything takes off big enough, and then the big boys are going to come and get in the swimming pool with us. So we will wait to see what happens with this. Right now, it is pretty I don't want to say experimental, but it's difficult to install. So the default models are I run, a 4090, and the default model took me 10 minutes to make a picture of a dog sitting on a toilet. So it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't certainly worth waiting 20 minutes for. Okay, to be honest, probably wasn't worth waiting 30 seconds for. But it was my test, and it did take over 10 minutes to make. So fortunately, we do have some NF4 models, which we'll talk a little bit about what that means later on. Just think quant. Okay, but more cooler quants, like more sciencey quants. So it does make the model usable for down to 16 gigabytes. So we're going to look at that, get this installed into ComfyUI, and it can be a bear. It's going to be very particular. So you're going to have to follow the directions here and make sure that your ComfyUI is set up properly before we do this. So before we do that, though, I do want to thank you for liking the channel and subscribing. Appreciate you guys being part of this and really sharing with other people about what's going on here. When you're getting off a city bus and they close the doors and they're about to drive off, and you bap on it, and like you forgot something, which you did, and they open it back up. He's like, yeah, what? And you say, I forgot to tell you about Get Going Fast, and then just ask the driver really quickly what his thoughts about AI are, and I'm sure he's going to appreciate that as well as everyone else on the bus. So I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. That's very committed of you, and shows that you are part of the crew. So good on you. All right, well, let's move on with HiDream. We're going to take a look again at the ComfyUI. We're going to get it installed there. I'm going to warn you, we're going to have to use 2 different repositories to get this working, but we're going to get it working. So hang in there. Do not despair. Hope is on the way, yo. Okay, so let's pop over and see some of the stuff we're doing. This is just quick images that I made here. So obviously, golden retriever with a duck in its mouth. Yeah, it's not exactly how I would have pictured it. There's another one, but you do notice the details are quite nice in the back. So it actually really does the background details quite good. What else we got here? Oh, there's sexy android lady. Again, you can see that the colors are quite striking, and that's obviously a nice Davenport there that she's laying on. What else we got here? Oh, yeah. Made our title image for this was with HiDream as well. So again, the colors actually really pop. This is a cool, I don't know, I kind of like this. It's got that plasticky, just different, it looks like a 3D model, a well done 3D model. It's quite good. So this kind of stuff we're going to be playing with. Again, I don't think this is going to kill, this is going to be knocking off, what do you call it, Fluxx anytime soon. but it certainly has potential. And you notice, look at how long this stuff is taking. So even once you get your models loaded, this is taking 107 seconds. That's a minute and a half for an image, and that's no good. This last one was run with fast. You notice it does come with these different NF4 ones. You don't want to play with these ones. You want to play with your NF4 ones up here. and it will auto download. So that's going to be a nice thing once we get into the install of this, but it still takes a long time. And look at the fast is not doing very particularly well. So it's washed out. So I don't know, maybe someone else knows what's up with that. Oh, you know, we could try throwing this out really quick. It does say over here that the negative prompts only work for the full NF4 model, so that's the only one it's supposed to work on. Maybe getting rid of that negative prompt. Okay, so that ran if we could get the fast to work, 22 seconds is doable. It's not ideal, but it's doable. Let's see if this one, no, yeah. So, not the best, okay? But this is a new tech that is just come out, and so it will be getting better. All right, so let's pop over. So what we're going to end up doing here is, this is not an easy install. Like I said, it's just kind of come out in the last week or last several days, and so some people are rushing to get it going, but the models are, it's okay, and the dependency, there's all sorts of dependency issues that have been hitting with this, and so we're going to end up looking at 2 different repositories that we're going to be downloading from. And I'm going to tell you what, your Comfy installation is sort of particular. So what I do again is we go over to the Get Going Fast page over here. There it is. Hey, what's up? And if you just type in comfy.getgoingfast.pro, it will take you to this page, and here we have a free installation. So this installation is going to have your Triton, your Flash Attention, your Sage Attention, things that you're going to need for this installation. Okay, so this is probably the easiest way. This is what I built this solution around. Okay, so now assuming we have this going, what we want to do is we want to move on to actually getting this thing installed. So let's go ahead and go to the repositories. 2 of the things that we're going to be looking at is this one over here. It's the HiDream. Oh, where's it? Let me click on the browser. The HiDream i1 4-bit quantized model. So a couple different ways that we can find this. You can try finding this just by typing HiDream in F4 GitHub. Boy, I am having a brain moment here. Okay, and we're going to be looking for this one from Hickelpilkona. I don't know if that's a Greek name or what that is, but that's the one that we're going to be looking for. The other one we're going to be using is this one called ComfyUI HiDream Sampler. So we're going to just type we could also do this. Just go HiDream Sampler and look for this one from Lumion. Okay. Now, the other way that you could find this, if you can't find them in there, is just go to cognibuild.ai. That is my website. Click on the blog, and you will find a thing here that says HiDream Mixed Repos for NF4 install. Okay, and you got them right there as well. So that is always something. If you can't find them, you can get them there. Okay, so now heading back to our file explorer, what we're going to do is we're going to be going into where we have installed ComfyUI. So again, I use the free script installer because it gets it all done, the Sage Attention, blah, 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 all that stuff. So that way I can also just delete this and then click it and get it all back together. So this uses, the difference is it uses its own virtual environment. This installation that we're doing here will not work with the portable, okay? There's just the I don't know how to explain this more to you, but the dependencies on this are a little bit wild, okay? So it does not work with the portable, okay? At least not yet, okay? I'm still on it. I'm still cracking my head against it because I'm here for you guys. That's what I do. That's why I got a flat forehead. But right now we're using a manual install. Okay, so what we want to do is go to our first of our repos and go ahead and put it into, we're going to git clone it. So let's go over to our browser. Let's use this one first, the i1NF4. Okay, now I don't know that it really matters what order we do it in here, but I do think that this one installs some stuff that the other, it will save us some errors, I think, by doing it this direction first. So we're going to go to Hippo Kill Kona first here, and let's just go up here and copy that link. All right, now let's head back to our File Explorer, and we're just going to go click on our ComfyUI. Okay, then we're going to go click on our custom nodes. Now I've already got this here, but I'll do it again anyways. Okay, now at the top here, notice I clicked in this little white area here, and it highlights the whole thing. That's great. So backspace that, just delete it, get it out of here. I don't want it. It's like an old pair of dirty socks, yo. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to type a command. This is actually going to run just like a command terminal line. So I'm going to type a git clone. You got to have git installed on your system. That's what pulls down repositories. And I'm calling the application git. I'm not calling it like, hey git. I'm using it. I'm calling it. I'm a sorcerer and I'm invoking it, right? And I'm saying I want you to clone, and I'm going to paste in the repository. So if you do that, it will go ahead and it will create this folder called HiDream i1NF4. Okay, so let's pop on back to our browser. Now, the instructions here are really simple, okay? Basically, all it wants us to do is it wants us to go in here and it wants us to run this command, okay? Pip install HDI1 no build isolation, okay? So it's going to look at this folder and it's going to install all the stuff that's in there. Okay, really simple, but we do need to activate our virtual environment to do this. Now, if you can just run this and get it running, good on you. I cannot get it. If I just do this page, I can't get it to work. Okay, it just doesn't work. And this actually wants to open up a web app like this. Okay, it's a little bit different. So this actually is for a standalone Gradio app. The other one's for the ComfyUI. Again, when we put them together, it makes the ComfyUI work, but I can't square it here with the Gradio app. Okay, so at any rate, all of that said, let's pop back to our File Explorer, and what we need to do is we need to go into here. So we click on it, and we need to go ahead and run this command here so that it can install this HD1 folder. We can look in there and see what's inside of it. It's got all this stuff. This is init and main. That all tells us that it's like an app. It's something ready, waiting to be installed. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go open in terminal. Okay, and that is going to pop up this. You'll notice that it put us in the actual folder that we're in. Now, if you're on Windows 10, you might not have this function, which is bummer, but you can always go over to my blog and there is a registry script that will add it in there for you. Okay. Okay, now that we're in here, what we need to do is we're going to run that install command, but first we have to activate our virtual environment. Now, I want to show you where are we at here really quickly. This is the folder that we're in, okay? Our virtual environment exists all the way back in this folder. So we need to go back a folder and then back a folder. But here's the thing. If we just straight get out of this, then we have to type all of this in again. That's kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, I suppose we could always just copy this like this, and that's an easy way to do it. But here's an easier way to do it. Here, pro tip. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use our call command, because call is how we say, okay, I want to get this, I want to call a file. But now we're going to give it the location, okay? So like, for instance, when we type something like a bat file, like you run a bat file, you're actually telling it a location. You're just saying it's right here when you just type the name. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ... and then a backslash saying back one folder. That's what that ... does. So we're going to say back into this folder. I want you to then go back into this folder. Then I want you to look for a folder that's called Vim. I'm going to put another backslash. And then I want you to look for a folder inside of that called scripts. And then inside that folder, I want you to run the file that's called activate. Now, watch what happens. It did it. Yo, I mean, just like, it's magic, okay? We're now in the virtual environment, okay? And this is the virtual environment that your ComfyUI has already set up. If you're doing the main difference between this and your portable ComfyUI is that portable comes with its own virtual environment already in there. It's in a folder called Python Embedded. And nice thing about a manual, it's like working on your own car. You get to put your own parts in there. So when we run a manual, we know exactly what we have, and which is why installations like this can work. But okay, all that aside, we're going to head back to the browser. Okay, if I can find the browser. And now we can go ahead and pip install this bad boy. So we're just going to highlight that and copy it. Now we's going to go back to our command terminal, like so. Okay, and I could type dir, and that means a directory, and you can see there's the directory that we're going to be calling. Okay, so we're in the same place. I'm going to hit Control V. Now pip is our Python package installer. Okay, so it's how we install dependencies. So we're same thing. We're invoking pip, and I need to get a wand. Pip. I need a pip wand, and we're going to go ahead and tell it we want you to install something. And what we're telling is we want you to install an entire folder. Okay, and then we're using this no build isolation, which means don't worry about other dependencies that are in the virtual environment. Just build this bad boy. It's like saying, yo, let her ride. So we're going to go ahead and hit that, and it's going to go through all of this. Okay, so mine's already set up. Now I got some errors here, but remember we were talking about how it matters what order you put this in. The only reason it's doing this is because I already had installed the second part of it. You won't get these errors, okay? So it's going to roll through here, and it's going to go and it's going to install everything. It's going to get it going. And then that's really all you have to do for this one, okay? So, hold on. My dogs are freaking out. Give me just one moment. Okay, so we're done with that. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this terminal window. We're going to come back to the terminal window, but we'll do it the same way we did it last time so that you can get some practice. So we're done with this repository now. Really what we needed is there was just some stuff there that makes the NF4 things work. I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, I figured out. It took me all day yesterday. I was sitting there playing with stuff to get a stable installation. This is the stable installation. Okay, now we're gonna go back to our HiDream sampler. We're gonna do the same thing. Let's go up here and highlight the. You can see it up here. Highlight that and let's copy it. Let's pop on back over to our File Explorer. Okay. This time, now notice we're in the HiDream NF4 folder. So what we can do is we can click back one to custom nodes. Okay, when you up here, you'll see that when you put your mouse over things, it highlights them. If you click it, it will take you back to that part in the chain. You could think of it like a chain of address. It's on the D drive under a folder called staging, under a folder called comfy testing. So when you have it like this, you can just click into automatically to parts in that chain. All right, so we're in our custom nodes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click here, do the same thing, hit the backspace, get it out of there. We don't want it. Yo, it's stinky cheese, okay? So we're going to type git clone, and then we're going to hit Control V. Same thing, okay? Magic wand of invoke, and it downloads the sampler. Okay, so now let's go back really quickly and see what our directions are. So we'll click back to our browser. And this one has a few more things. So it wants us to git clone it. It wants us to install the requirements. Okay. There's going to be some issues with the requirements that we need to take care of. So we'll pop into that really quick and clean that out. And then you'll notice that it's got these sage attention, your Triton, all of this. Okay, so when you are running this, All of this is already taken care of for you, okay? It's running a 12.6 CUDA, which means that you have all of the particular things. It is really not, when you're running a Windows machine, it's really not as simple as just installing Triton or installing Sage Attention. A lot of times, especially with Triton, you have to have a very particular, what's called a wheel, okay? It's like how it's going to be built, and it has to be built on with a certain Python and a certain CUDA, and so it can really be a pain in the butt, okay? So, again, I really recommend you just use this Comfy manual installation. It's all going to go fine for you from there, okay? But, I'll put some links over on the CogniBuild blog site. In fact, there already is. If you go over to the CogniBuild blog, you'll find a thing about how to install Triton over there, or go watch one of my videos on how to get. You can just try running these commands, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to assume that your ComfyUI is already set up. Okay, so let's pop back over to our File Explorer where we get cloned this repo here. And let's go inside of it. So we're going to click inside the sampler. Now, what we want to do is we want to click on this requirements.txt. Let's pop that up. And that should pop this up. Okay, so we want to get rid of a few things in here that we don't need or are going to cause problems. So first of all, notice it says torch here. What you're going to notice is, for us NVIDIA guys, we need torch with CUDA, and this is not the right torch, so it's going to put the wrong torch in there. But here's the thing: if you're running the manual ComfyUI, you've already got installed, you've already got torch, so you don't need to put that in there. All it's going to do is it's going to remove the good torch and it's going to put in the bad torch. So let's get rid of that. Okay, there's a few other small changes that we want to make here. So we're also going to look at this, and we don't want the Sage Attention. We've already got Sage Attention installed. If you don't have CUDA 12 installed, if you're doing this manually and you don't have CUDA 12 installed, you're not going to get Sage Attention installed regardless. But again, this is already in our free manual install, and then we're going to go ahead and get rid of this because this is not going to work. This is going to cause you problems with GPTQ model. Looks like we don't need it anyways, but if we do need it, I do have a file that we can use, which I'll show you a bit later. And then lastly, we need to get rid of this Triton. So again, Triton is one of those ones that it has to have a very particular thing. It will not, one installation will not just work on all computers. So we want to clean all this up because it'll throw errors otherwise. So now we're going to go ahead and Control S, and we're going to go ahead and save that. Okay, now we can click back over to here. So just like we did before, we're in our HiDream sampler. We want to go ahead and right click and open up in the terminal. Okay, and get on over to here. And there we are inside the folder now with the pip install. So as usual, we don't want to just go ahead and install these requirements. We need to do the same thing, get back into our virtual environment. So again, notice it's 1 back, it's 2 back. The virtual environment exists in this folder. So we will do the same thing as we did before. We're going to go call ... that means back 1 folder. If you just did 1 ... it would mean this actual folder, but ... means that folder. And then we go another folder because we want to go 2 folders back. And we're going to call a folder called scripts, or a vim, and then a folder called scripts. And then we're going to run the command called activate. And we're in a virtual environment. Yeah. Okay, now we can go ahead and we can type pip install. We can invoke pip, okay, -r. That means we're going to be installing from a file. That file is one that we just changed up. We can go requirements.txt. Okay, so it's going to rip through all of that. Now mine, again, it was done fast, so mine was already done, so it went fast. If you haven't installed these yet, it will take a while as they download for you. Okay, so just really quick, if you're having a hard time with the Flash Attention, Triton, and Sage Attention, we can take care of that. Again, if you just go, I'm just telling you, if you just go get the free installation over here, it's going to take it all care of you. But what we can do is same thing as before. Go to CogniBuild.ai, click on the blog, and now if you go down to the search, you can type in the word Triton, and we do have a thing here, installing flash attention. And so here is where you would actually grab these things. So it looks like actually you can just install Sage Attention as long as you have 3.12, or as long as you have CUDA 12.6. Okay. Again, with our installation that we're using, the manual, we're using Python 3.10, and as you see, that's going to become important when we get into installing our attention and our Triton. You'll see over here it says CP 310. That means it's expecting Python 310. Same here. So if you have a different Python that you're running, shame on you. No, I was kidding. If you do have a different Python, you're going to have to go find a place where you can actually get the version you need. Otherwise, you can use these if you have not installed them already. But to do that, you would just go back to the command terminal that we're already in. You're already in your virtual environment, and then you would do all your pip installs. Okay, but again, we're going to move on because that's all part of the free manual script. And the bottom line is everything should be working now. Okay, so we have it installed. Let's go ahead. I'm going to close out our terminal window. Okay, the terminal window is gone. Terminal, and now we'll pop back over to our file explorer. I'm going to go back to my ComfyUI. Okay, so this is outside of the ComfyUI folder, and you should have some kind of run comfy bat thing. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now, before we do that, I do want to point out here that this is the installer that we've created over at the Get Going Fast page. So all you have to do to get this thing running is just click this, and everything that we're doing right now is already done for you. Okay, so it really easy peasy to get it going, and you don't have to worry so much. That can actually be found over here on the getgoingfast.pro page, and you just go here. So this is free for all members. All right, the fast way of getting it done, the get going fast way, if you will. All right, anyway, heading back over here, we're just going to go ahead and click our run comfy.bat. That's going to open up our command terminal window, which is going to look something like this. Sit here and wait for this to load. Okay, so once your ComfyUI loads up, you'll have, whatever was the last workflow that you worked on. If you haven't done anything before, you'll have this basic image generation. So we need to go ahead and load the workflow. So we're going to click workflow, and we're going to click open. Okay, then we go to where we installed this thing. So let's go back to our ComfyUI. Oh, you can't see that. Hold on, let me make sure that you can see this. Okay, so we're going to go to our ComfyUI. This is considered outside of your ComfyUI folder, okay? And you're going to click into there. Then we're going to click into our custom nodes, okay? Now we're going to go find our Comfy HiDream sampler. So remember, we installed both of these, the NF4 and the Dream sampler. This actually is a Gradio app, but it gave us the dependencies we needed. So we're not going to use this. We're going to be using our Dream sampler. And then under here, you'll see it says sample workflow. And then all we got to do is double click that, and it'll pop up. Just like that, okay? So now there's a few things I want to show you here. This is the default thing. So they've done a few things here that is kind of confusing. I don't know if it's confusing, but it's not the best design for putting out a workflow, but whatever. Let me first show you how you're going to load this. This is your input primary prompt. You're going to put your information here. Okay, so this one has a collectible rare postage stamp with the text US Postal Service. Okay, cool. Whatever. Now, this model type here, you're going to click, you're going to see you've got full, dev, and fast. Okay, these are the ones that we're going to be using. Remember, we played with these earlier in the video. Fast is basically garbage. But, you play with the full, play with the dev. They're about 16 gigabytes each, maybe 30. They're pretty big. So you're going to want to keep an eye on your disk space. Okay, but let's say you grab one of them, okay, and you've got your negative prompt, you got all this, you're ready to run it, okay, and when you first run it, it will download that, so you don't have to do anything else. But I want to show you a few things. Notice the number of images is set to 4. Okay, so right there, you're going to be sitting there waiting forever, wondering why is this taking so long? And it's because it's generating 4 images. Okay, so let's change that to 1. Now I want to show you this other thing. It's nice they added this, but they kind of messed things up. They added this image to image. So again, while you're waiting for your image to go, it's going to be running it through a secondary process over here, which means it's going to triple your time, your wait time. So if you basically what it does is going to create an image, and then it's going to send it over to here, and then it's going to create an image off that image. Just like, oh, okay. So that means it's got to be running, captioning stuff, which is great if you want it, but it's not great when you're first loading a workflow and you're testing it to suddenly discover that you're doing 4 images and that they're getting thrown over to an image to image. So we need to disconnect this. All right. So pretty much what you need to do is this. We go over here. This is where our thing will end. So let's go over to our sampler here, and we're going to just let's actually do this. Hold down the control button, and we're going to click on a bunch of these different modules all at once. And notice it's highlighting all of them, okay? Okay, now we're going to right click, and we're just going to click bypass, okay? Easy peasy. Now when we go ahead and run this thing, it's not going to use the image to image. We can just do our thing. So we can go ahead and click run. I don't know how long it's going to take with my software going, but it will start up. You'll see it up here in the left corner. See if you can see that. Yep. Up here in the left corner right there, you can see the process. Now, the first time you run this, it's going to take a little bit of time because it has to actually download the models. So it could take you, what is it? First time I think it's 400 seconds. So what is that? 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 360. So it took about 7 minutes the first time I did it, but because it's downloading very large models as well. After that, it takes about, a minute. Maybe a little bit less to get your images going. So we'll let that sit. Meanwhile, I want to show you over here that I have gone ahead. If you have got this from the Get Going Fast site, I went ahead and I have a modified workflow, okay, that here it looks like this is basically the same thing as the other one, but it has this off and on trigger. So if you want to use your image to image, you can just click these things here. Okay, you can turn them off, you can turn them on. And notice when you are doing your image to image, you have to take whatever you've done there, and then over here you have to put it back in what you want it to become. So, but anyway, so this is just a little bit of a faster way. Also, it's preset to only use one image, and then it's got its own prompt in there, which I think is that robot gal laying on a Davenport, but that's neither here nor there. So you can choose whatever way that you're wanting to do this. Meanwhile, while we're waiting, I want to encourage you to go to YT Music or any other major streaming service and do a search for Jim Day and the Better Stories, where you can listen to good music like this while you work.
You may say a lot of things about my words. You may say a lot of things about my intentions. You may say a lot of things, but it don't mean they're true. But you're the only one who left me crying at Calvary. You're the only one who brought me down so low. You're the only one who can't seem to remember these things. You're the only one we want.
Okay, so we can see that this is almost done. The green lines here are moving. I want to show you a couple more things. One of the things here is that the resolutions, they've locked them in. So you can only choose what they're giving you, okay? Now, there is something down here that says override the width, override the height. So you can put your own custom stuff in there, but I'm telling you, if you play with it, it doesn't, it breaks the model. It messes up the model, let's say that. So you can get different sizes, but all of a sudden it won't be adhering to your prompt, okay? So like I did one, it was an Android and this and that. But then when I was trying to make it really big, it just kept going human. So it breaks the problem. So you pretty much have to stick to what they've trained it on here. And there we go. It came out. That's really pretty good. Again, the colors and the backgrounds, it's a very sharp imagery. This is not 4K or 2K. Notice it's high def. It's 124 by 124, and you can't really get any much better than that with this model yet. But even with that, this is pretty good. I mean, I'm well pleased. I think that this model could go big. Now, if you really needed to use this to upscale, probably what I would do is just go online and do something like do a web search for upscale image online. And I'd look for something like this. Then you can just upload it there, and then it'll pop it up to 4K for you. That's probably the fastest way to do it. There is softwares that you can use on your own machine, and we'll talk more about that later. But to be honest, as a guy that just wants to get stuff done, that's the fastest way to upscale your stuff. And there you have it. You have HiDream, okay? Not a fever dream. It wasn't a fever dream. It was a HiDream, okay? So again, you can get all this over at the Get Going Fast page here. So if you go over there, you can find the quick installer. Just download it, get that ComfyUI installer, get it going, get everything ready, go grab the Get Going Fast thing, click it, and you're in the game here within 10 minutes. So all right, well, we're gonna leave her there. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Tomorrow is live Q&A day, so if every Wednesday around noon, 1 o'clock, that's Mountain Standard Time, we're going to have live Q&A, and we'll be working on our projects. And our project this week is just getting HiDream running. So if you have questions, come up, and we'll help you to do that. In the meanwhile, be sure to hit us up on Instagram. Be sure to hit us up on the X. Come over to Reddit, where we're going to treat you nice. No one's going to treat you nice at Reddit, okay, except for us. We're going to thumb up all your stuff, make you feel like you're doing a good job, because you are, and we're very proud of you. Go find us on the Discord and call your mother at some point today and tell her you're thinking about her and that you love her very much. It's going to make her day. All right, you guys enjoy, and we will catch you on the other side of a yo.